Here's a chance for a tip. Boland scores! Dave Boland has given the Blackhawks the lead with 59 seconds to go.
Is there concern? Yes, there's concern around the NHL. It's a high-paced game. It's a fast game. It's speed, and you never know what's going to happen. I've had a few before.
It's estimated that anywhere between 15 to 20% of athletes involved in high-risk sport are going to get a concussion each season. This works out to 3.8 million injuries per year in the U.S.
Absolutely unloads on Johnny Boychuk, who didn't see him coming.
Although the media has dedicated a lot of attention towards these injuries in professional athletes, the vast majority of these injuries are actually happening in young amateur athletes. Now, if you're a professional athlete, you have access to a team doctor, training staff, and coaches that are all on the same page. So you have preseason baseline testing, early prompt diagnosis, and a proper return to play management strategy. However, what happens to the Pee Wee hockey player or the high school football player? There's no programs that exist like this for them. There's no team doctor that they go to. As it stands now, concussed athletes are left to seek their own medical care within the community with absolutely no communication back to the team. The problem is that the research shows that most healthcare practitioners are not educated on concussion, their management, or the proper treatment. We're talking about one of the most prevalent injuries in sport and one that has the most concern amongst parents and athletes, yet it is also the most frequently mismanaged injury. A concussion happens when someone receives a blow to their head or elsewhere on their body, which causes the brain to accelerate or decelerate within the skull. These forces cause a disturbance in brain cells, which ultimately results in an energy deficit. The energy stores will continue to deplete over the next 3 to 5 days. If the injury is dealt with appropriately through proper management and diet, these energy stores will start to gradually restore over the next days to weeks. During this period of reduced energy prior to full recovery, it has been well established that the brain is extremely vulnerable to additional trauma, where even smaller impacts can cause another concussion. And these second concussions can cause severe brain injury with potentially permanent or fatal outcomes. The issue with concussions is that symptoms, meaning how you feel, does not coincide with brain recovery. Typically, someone feels better within 3 to 7 days following injury. However, the research has shown that the brain does not fully recover within this period. So this means that even though someone feels better, they are still at great risk. The only way to truly know when someone has recovered and is out of this vulnerable state is to compare their abilities to when they were healthy. This is what's known as a baseline test. A good baseline assessment should consist of a battery of tests to examine every area of brain function which could become affected during the concussion. This testing must be done prior to starting the season and before the athlete gets injured. This way, if the athlete does get a concussion, we can compare their post-injury state to their baseline parameters to determine when they have fully recovered and are actually safe to return to their sport.
Yeah, everybody does preseason testing. I think it's right before every season we do one.
Okay. And the limited number of athletes that are actually already doing baseline testing are currently relying on computerized testing, and these tests have been shown to be inadequate as a standalone measure.
Parents might be familiar with the computerized testing schools spend big bucks on to give athletes baseline tests, but doctors say the computerized tests were unpredictable and did not show them when an athlete was ready to return.
I quickly realized through my research that what we were supposed to be doing as healthcare practitioners was not actually being put into practice. So I founded Complete Concussion Management about a year ago in order to provide amateur associations with a comprehensive, evidence-based concussion management program to help decrease the risk of concussion in sport. We currently have over 50 fully trained and certified clinics in Canada. These facilities offer preseason baseline testing, coach and trainer education programs, cutting-edge rehabilitation, as well as return-to-play protocols developed by the Chicago Blackhawks medical staff. So the way this program works is that if an athlete is baseline tested at any one of our clinics, they get an ID tag, and that ID tag is fastened onto their sports bag and is also linked with an electronic health record system that stores all of their data. So if an athlete is tested in, let's say, Toronto, and they're playing in a hockey tournament or a soccer tournament in another city, and they get injured, they can walk into another clinic in that city and be tested and compared against their own baseline. This ID card also allows a coach or a trainer to be able to report an athlete's injury directly into our system. So this provides constant communication and is the integration between sport and healthcare. The research on concussion has exploded over the past 5 years, and all the recommendations and consensus statements that are coming out basically are calling for a program just like this one. We're simply taking this research and all these recommendations and putting them into action. The first and most important step to this is to have each and every athlete receive a baseline test prior to starting the season. In our opinion, this type of program should really be mandatory in every single sport. For more information or to find a clinic near you, please visit CompleteConcussions.com.